Hello, fellow meat eaters. Welcome to the Carnivore Revolution. I'm Jessalyn. Serena will be on here in just a second. And today we're going to be joined by a very special guest who is going to show us how to make the most delicious ice cream. I'm so excited. Hi, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Let us know if you are going to be making any ice cream with us. And let's get Dr. Kiltz in here.
I'm so excited.
Me too. If you guys have any questions while we're doing this, make sure to put them in the little question box down below, and then we can see them more easily and put them up on the screen. Hi, Dr. Kiltz.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Are you ready?
I'm absolutely always ready. So thank you for inviting me to do this. And there's nothing better than ice cream, no matter what.
Seriously.
I agree. So what kind of ice cream are you going to be making today?
Well, I'm making vanilla bean ice cream, and it's really very simple. I used to try to make it very complicated and following all the recipes, but this isn't an exact recipe. The beauty is you can decide you want to put in 1 egg per pint or 2 or 3. Let me grab my cream here. And I'm always looking for cream that has no gluten in it. And sometimes they'll add a gluten stabilizer or something in it. But listen, it's okay if you've got it, because I bought 2 types today. And let me just grab, hold on 1 second. And my Organic Valley is very good, but it does have a little bit of gel and gum and phosphate. Okay, again, I'm not a stickler, but I always, today I got lucky at Wegmans. They literally had 2 of a local farm, which is only cream. But it doesn't last as long because it doesn't have a stabilizer. So I love to find really, really fresh local cow's milk cream. But some people even do goat's milk as another option.
So the gluten stabilizer, if you have a gluten intolerance, will that upset you?
Potentially. It's a gelin, which is ultimately from I mean, it may be, I don't know if it's some of the maybe it's GELLAN, gum. Well, it may be from a cow, but it may also be from a plant. You never know that one. So, but I always look for the one that doesn't have it. Pittsford Farms. Look at your local farms and the local markets. What they may have for sure. But I love vanilla. Like, I'll turn everything else down for just vanilla. And so it was interesting. I usually get my vanilla from Amazon, and I can get like a 20-pack for about $30. Well, I got a 2-pack from Wegmans for about $30 today. So because I realized I didn't have any more vanilla beans, and I love the vanilla bean more than anything. But I used to make it with vanilla paste, but vanilla paste contains alcohol and sugar in many cases. This one actually happens to have it. Well, if you're going to do white sugar anyway, or cane sugar, you use less sugar potentially, number one. And but I noticed for me, a little bit of alcohol affects me negatively. So I have to be real careful about the ice cream, whether or not it was made with it is an extract, and they use alcohol to extract the vanilla. Interesting enough, my partner Tia taught me that if you take the vanilla beans and cut them longwise and put them in the sugar, it'll actually, over like a week, it'll gain the flavor. And it's another way to kind of do that. But you can actually, what's that?
But like vanilla sugar then.
Yeah, it's, again, listen, for me, a treat from time to time is a treat and reward. If you're having it like every day, But if you want to make ice cream, cream and eggs, and that's it, or some butter added too, go at it. You know, again, and then for some people, like they put salt on their food, you could put a little bit of sprinkle of something that you want to put on, whether it's stevia or white sugar or what. You know, I'm very careful because at once I had someone come to me want to make some Kiltz's keto treats. And, you know, part of me was like, oh, that sounds great. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's so against my way. But a little bit of natural sugar, I think, again, is okay from time to time. But everyone's got to pick it up themselves.
And just remind you guys, if you do have questions while we're doing this, drop them in the little question box down below with the comment with the question in the middle, and we'll be able to see them easier and then pull them up on the screen. So just to let you guys know. And so my ice cream, I'm making just butter, cream, eggs, and salt. And I don't have an ice cream maker, so I'm doing it old school, and I'm shaking it in a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got two. I actually have 3 ice cream makers.
That's amazing.
One of the old one, it died. Then I got a new one, and then someone gave me one for a present. One of them actually has it's its own refrigerator freezer. So it's made by Breville. So you know, if someone wants to get that, and my other one is a Cuisinart, which is it basically you have to freeze the canister. But you know, I probably should do this more. So I'm excited to see what you're doing, Jess. That's going to be real exciting.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What's that?
I actually bought a mini ice cream maker today. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I bought a mini ice cream maker today because I thought you probably had a really good ice cream maker. And I used to have a decent one, but I kind of get carried away when I start cleaning out my kitchen and like getting rid of appliances and stuff. Listen, never get rid of an appliance you already have for any reason at all. But I did. I got rid of it. So I knew Jess was doing old school and I was going to do it like that too. So I bought a little mini that makes like a pint of ice cream. I thought that'd be great for, you know, this instance. You put the little bowl in the freezer, except the instructions online said you have to put it in the freezer for a little while. But the instructions when you get it say 24 hours. So I'm going old school like Jess today.
Yeah, they actually, that's one of the problems. That's why I have 2, because the one needs like 2 days, 48 hours of freezing. And those, they go bad after a while. You have to replace them. So, you know, that's...
Bought an ice cream maker specifically to make your ice cream, and hers isn't like that. It doesn't have the thing that goes in the freezer, right? You just plug this in.
I think hers does have to go in the freezer. But we do have a question. Kathy wants to know how much cream. I'm not using it as the recipe calls for. It calls for a pint, correct? I'm using a little less than a pint. So I think you can eyeball it too, right? It's not, you don't have to be exact, right?
Right, but you know, I buy a pint of cream is great for 2 people, ice cream lovers like me. Now, it depends on how like, oh my God, I need a whole pint. But usually I say 1 pint, 1 egg, a dash of salt if you want. Do it later, it's better, I think. And then I usually do 1 bean, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon per pint.
Okay.
So somebody's asking, real raw milk, and so it can be raw or it can be not raw, but we're all using actual heavy cream, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but some people look at milk is most common that you make ice cream, but it's not cream, it's iced milk. But it works too for so many people. And you might the raw milk, which may be sweeter, you know, again, you know, sweet butter, sweet cream, and it tastes so good. You don't have to add. This is a tablespoon for 2 pints.
Okay.
By the way, and so you know, I like to make it in 2 pints because then I have it in the freezer for a few days.
Right. Okay. So I am using a pint. I've already a pint of cream, and then I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to use a large duck egg that I got from a friend. And I'm actually dribble it before I pour it into the bag.
And I've got two beans, fresh beans let me see if I can bring my camera down a little bit so people can see I start with the egg, the bean, and the sugar. But again, for the purists in the carnivore world that say, I won't eat sugar, but if you eat fruit, you're eating sugar. Right. So I always say we have to be open, but let's watch. Well, let's see. We got the butter going in.
Yep, I just put my butter in, and here's my egg. And neither one of us is adding any sugar.
What, Jess? I'm sorry. You're heating up the cream?
I'm going to melt my butter and then add it into the cream.
So it'll make little chunks. Yours will be like chocolate chips, except it'll be butter chips in yours, right? I'm
hoping, because when I've put hot butter into my iced coffee, it kind of makes it into like little chunks. So I'm hoping that it'll be the same for this. And that wasn't intentional. That was an accident. I was just being dumb in that moment when I found that out.
So mine isn't going to have any chunks. I'm going to, mix mine up in here so the butter just kind of blends in with the cream. Want to drink like it is.
And I'm going to add more egg yolk, like you suggest, to make it even like richer and creamier and thicker.
And add the more yolks to make it more custardy and smooth. I think that helps a lot also.
Maybe I'll add another egg then. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, maybe. That's easy enough. And I'm going to give a little bit of a do and a try of the butter, by the way. And do you have any butter favorites that you use?
I use Kerrygold because that's the best option that we have at the commissary. We don't have a lot of options in Japan.
My joy of butter is I love to eat it like cheese.
I do that too. My butter dish is over here on the counter, and I always keep a fork on top of it.
Well, you know how they used to say a spoonful of butter helps the medicine go down? Yep. Mary, right?
Yep.
But it's actually, it's a spoonful of butter helps your life get better every day. And really, if you think about it, versus fish oil or cod liver oil, I think butter is way better, by the way. Until comfortably satiated on carnivore, you have bigger meals. There was a question there by Andrew.
Yeah. So comfortably stuffed on carnivore, you have bigger meals versus smaller ones.
I have bigger meals. I only eat twice a day. Sometimes I only eat once a day. I never really eat more than twice, and my meals I eat about 2 pounds of meat a day, maybe a little more.
Yeah, I would say I eat about 1 pound, and I eat once a day. I think kind of the carnivore world pushes too much. I mean, that's my bias, and then everyone gets on the treadmill to lose weight. Because even on carnivore, you could gain weight for sure.
So the recipe calls for 1 whole egg, correct? And then Dr. Kiltz recommends adding egg yolks to make it more custardy, up to 4, I believe.
Yeah,
I added 3, I think.
Yeah, and I just kind of eyeball it, one egg per pint, but I made it up. I don't know where I got it. When I first started making ice cream, it called for simmering in a double boiler, the water and that, and that's too complicated. I'm not that smart.
Have any of you guys watching made ice cream the old school way where you shake it in a bag with ice? Because my husband had never heard of that before and did not believe me that it would work when I tested it out. So let me know if you guys have not heard of that.
I've actually done it for the kids. I used to do it with milk. I thought that.
I'm excited to see how you do it because I've never seen it done.
Yeah, it's fun. It takes a little bit of work, but it's fun. Somebody in the comments asked about the difference between keto and carnivore. Do you want to take that, Dr. Kiltz? Do you have a quick easy way to?
Well, essentially, keto is a high-fat, very low sugar environment in your blood, in your body. Carnivore, ultimately, if it's only meat, which is fat and a little bit of protein, it's a high-fat. That's what keto really has been sort of defined as. And so all carnivore is keto, but not all keto is carnivore, because you can do keto as a vegan, as a vegetarian, as a Mediterranean also. Not that, I started off as keto kind of Mediterranean, a paleo Mediterranean. And then finally 11 years ago, I went, all right, so you put salt in the ice so it doesn't melt as fast, right?
Yeah, you put salt in your bag of ice. I have a gallon bag here, and then I have I believe a quart size bag here. I tried it with 2-gallon bags last night, and the gallon bag was a little too big, so I moved it down to a quart size bag.
All right.
And again, if you guys do have any questions, put them in the question box down below, and it's easier to see, and we can put them for everyone.
Yeah, a little bit easier. But Kiltz or while we're doing this ice cream thing, we're happy to answer questions.
Now, just a quick one. I took and melted my butter. I mixed it with a little bit of the white sugar, cane sugar, and with the vanilla beans. Okay. And then I always throw in the eggs first with that. Okay. I add the cream always last. Okay. And I'm going to add the third also.
Nice.
But let me see if I can. But I'm going to add just the yolk. Now, everyone's invited over in the next hour to taste my ice cream, by the way.
I'm on a plane. I'll get on a plane.
All right.
I'll be there. We'll be right now. Along the plane. So, this recipe, carnivore or keto, I think you can make it if you want. Mine technically carnivore because it's just egg, butter, cream, whatever you want into it.
Yeah.
Sugar and protein is metabolized exactly the same way. They both must go to the liver and be converted to fat. Most of us are not building muscle all the time. If you're not, it must be converted to fat. That's it. Most proteins are ketogenic in the sense they become a precursor to sugar and then they become fat. It's really so simple. That's why in general, keto for vegetarians, as long as it's a lower amount of sugar, but still a high fat, it works also. People don't quite understand it, but that's why keto is really for everyone. But the vegans are harder because technically you must get animal fat to be the healthiest.
Which I would and butter in our ice cream.
What's that?
That's why heavy cream and butter in our ice cream.
I put the butter in mine, by the way. You've inspired me.
Did you melt it? Or,
I did, but I mixed it with the sugar and the vanilla bean first, so it kind of emulsified, and it works really, really well.
What's that? It out.
I made this last night to test it out, and it took me about like
5 minutes?
And to get it to turn into ice cream, we will be putting this on the Carnivore Revolution channel.
We'll save the video.
And let me just,
Recipe.
my favorite show in the universe was Julia Child cooking. Always, like, I could watch her, and she is amazing because you can still see her all over the place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
What was your favorite recipe of hers that she would make?
You put them on the spot, Jess.
Well, number one, it's all in my brain, but I've got so much there, it's filed way back. I want to say chicken cacciatore, but I'm just guessing. I loved everything. Probably when she cooked the whole big fish, like fish soup or something. I was like a voracious cooker. I'd cook, it doesn't matter what it was. I would always have big parties. Now, my most boring meals now, right?
No. Yeah. But it's the most boring, but it's also the most exciting.
It's the best. Right. So, this is the Cuisinart. And again, after mixing up well, again, this is 2 pints. Voila, goes in this beautiful thing. I love the vanilla bean personally, but I sometimes will take a little bit of dark chocolate and just put it in here. That's really, really good. But again, this is a treat. It's not a daily meal. These are for those treats from time to time. That is it. Now,
we have a question asking.
What's that?
So unless you are building muscle, the protein you eat gets converted to
It's converted to
sugar?
Essentially, it's converted to fat because there obviously there's amino acids that are needed to turn over proteins. And sugar, by the way, we make it and it's used for glycosylating proteins, not for energy, unless it's converted to fat. That's really the crazy story to all of this. You must convert sugar to fat or you die. You can't use it. That's why type 2 diabetics, once they begin to damage their liver, and if they have a damaged pancreas, they don't have enough insulin nor liver cells to turn it over fast enough. And so my theory is insulin resistance does not exist at all. Okay, I'm going to move this to the other room.
Okay.
It's loud.
Okay. Somebody asked, didn't ask it in the question, they just in the comments about how much fat we eat. So most long-term carnivores don't really track like all the time, just to kind of, and most long-term carnivores tend to do between 70 and 10% fat every day to be a high-fat carnivore. That's really the best. And then somebody's asking about coffee. Could you put coffee in it? Sure. You could add some instant coffee grounds to it, right? Yeah.
Or an espresso. Really, again, it either the instant or the espresso a little bit. I add it to the sugar. Now, this was what I made just beforehand.
Okay.
And again, there are lots of different ways to do this. But there's nothing.
Are you ready to taste it, Jess?
Yeah, this is.
Come on.
Okay. I made some and put it in the freezer in a bowl, but I'm actually going to taste the one I just made because it feels like it's ready.
Okay.
I made some earlier just in case this wasn't ready in time, but it feels good.
I put my coffee cup so I feel like after.
I always put in a Kiltz cup.
We need Kiltz cups.
They're coming. They're
Okay.
all coming. I'm supposed to bring some Kiltz cups down to Lisa Wiederman's the meetup in
Nice.
July. But you know, I'm working on making more Kiltz cups. I'm getting them on my my Etsy and all that other stuff. I have a ton of fun with it all. Most important part to all this, have fun. You got to really, really, really have fun with all of it.
So, so insulin resistance exists. Mind
What's
blown.
that? What's
Emily
that?
wants to know, insulin resistance doesn't exist. Mind blown emoji.
Well, look at, if you eat sugar or plants all the time, you're putting sugar in your bloodstream all the time. Duh, insulin goes up. We all know that if you fast for 3 to 5 days, glucose falls, insulin falls. It solves all type 2 diabetics. And if you go on a strict carnivore, duh, diabetes goes away. That's not insulin resistance. So it's kind of a little bit, I mean, I listen to this every day with everyone, you know, still on the insulin resistance stuff and still on the side of, I don't think we're really stepping back to the lies that science has been promoting to sell. Well, you're just resistant to insulin. Well, why does that make any sense? Your body does one thing with sugar. It converts all of it in the liver to fat, or you die. Like, that is so simple. It took me a while to figure it out. My sister died of diabetes, and my friend died of cancer. I had to figure out why they were both linked to the exact same problem. Hyperinsulinemia is caused by hyperglycemia. So why do we have such a tough time with this? It's because the brainwashing is so long. Wait a minute. Wait. See, I have my favorite spoon and my favorite cups for my ice cream. If I don't have them, it's not the same experience.
Makes it.
So we have the question, how many grams of fat did you have per day, or how many grams of protein? I don't measure, so I'm not sure. I just intuitively eat. So
Back to the question I just answered. Most long-term carnivores do between 70 and 80% fat, so that's going to depend on who you are, how much you eat. You know, there really is no amount. Depends on who you are, but most long-term carnivores, if they track just to see how much they're eating, it's between 70 and 80%. Don't you agree, Dr. Kiltz?
Well, I would say that the best way, technically keto is supposed to be 80% of your calories from fat. Now, I have no idea what I get, but believe it or not, this is about how much meat I eat in a day.
okay.
That's not a lot. I always say about this much. Now, I'm 5'6", 155-ish. I'm 66. I don't do a lot of high intensity exercise. I used to ride like a maniac around my lake 3.5 hours, 3 times a week. Don't do it. So I would say that, and I don't measure. I don't even know what a gram or a calorie really is. Because how many people say, I don't eat, I gain weight? Well, something's not right. You don't gain weight on water or air. You gain weight on food. The challenge is, I know at 66, I eat a ton less food, and I don't lose weight. And so when I was 16 to 30, I could eat 10 times a day and never gained any weight. But obviously over time, reproductive potential, we're not as active. I mean, we say, well, I'm working all day, but you're not as active when you were 16 to 20 something. That I think is big for so many people, but I really have no idea how many calories I eat in a day at all. None.
Yeah,
I don't know how anyone else knows exactly how many calories they eat, but I would say that the problem is, technically a calorie is the number of grams burned up in some, you know, how much fuel it takes to burn 1 gram of something. I mean, none of us know truly. I don't care all the science with measuring carbon dioxide excretion and all this stuff. They're all very rough estimates, and that's all they are.
Mm-hmm. So
science is not so smart.
The YouTube channel is Carnivore Revolution, and someone again asked how much cream, how much butter. I didn't measure just now. I literally just eyeballed it and poured some in. The recipe calls for 2 cups or a pint, and then the butter, I just took some of my Kerrygold and figured out. How much did you guys use?
I just used 2 eggs and about 2 tablespoons of butter. And butter, add a little something to it, like it's almost like butter pecan ice cream without the pecans. I think the butter is a huge hit. I mean, I love the way you put the butter in it.
I do about 2 tablespoons, good tablespoons. I do an egg per pint. And for me, I add a little bit of cane sugar into mine because I am really, really, really good about my consumption. I don't eat plants of any significance or frequency. I eat a little bit of Parmesan cheese or blue cheese or gorgonzola, but just a little bit. I would say that I eat no fiber at all. I think fiber is very deadly for us. And it's one of the leading causes of colon cancer, esophageal cancer, and all bowel inflammation.
And then someone does want to know also, do you think that coconut cream would work for this recipe instead of dairy?
What type?
Coconut cream?
Yes, absolutely. For those vegans in the world, coconut milk, coconut cream, I don't know, I don't know how the percentage and how they make it, but absolutely. I tell all my vegans it's coconut fat cream, and now the question is, which carbs do you eat? But the challenge is all vegans must supplement, but not vegetarians.
And how does it taste? Mine tastes amazing. I really liked it. It was really simple. Just shake it in the bag if you don't have an ice cream maker. So really, it tastes like a treat.
It really does.
It's really good.
Gina, it tastes like an unsweetened version of butter pecan ice cream without the pecans in it. I mean, it like Jess said, it is definitely a treat. It is really delicious.
And you can look at either my family building guide or Kiltz's keto or online for these. But, I always, listen, the most fun in life is to take a recipe, check it out, and then change it up. Because, for some, they don't want to touch cane sugar. They want to do stevia, or they don't want to put anything in there. Listen, go for whatever is right for you. That's the beauty of food. And I know that I occasionally eat French fries, really cut thin, in duck grease, dipped in a combination of mayo and sour cream. But that's rare. Once a month. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yes, real raw milk, cream, eggs. Yeah, however you guys want it. It's very versatile. You can do whatever you like.
Yeah, and Dr. Kiltz, I love the idea, like you said, you take a recipe and kind of make it your own. That's kind of our motto at the Carnivore Revolution. At the Carnivore Revolution, Jess and I have not made even one recipe yet the way the instructions call for. We're always just saying, it's fine, it'll be fine. And you know what? The end result has been delicious every time.
So many people are afraid to cook because they're afraid of mistakes. And so, it's at least, and even cooking a steak or a burger, listen, make the mistake, decide what you like or don't like, and then make it again. And the more you do these things, and this is so much fun. I love watching cooking shows more than anything. But I don't anymore because I don't cook any of it anymore.
Right. And what we found too is that, because I cooked before I was carnivore and I would mess things up and it would taste horrible. But what we're finding with carnivore is that I can still mess up a ton of recipes, but the meat is so forgiving and it still tastes really delicious. No matter how bad I mess up, the end product is always really delicious still.
That's true. We're constantly the recipes, and then we're giving people the recipes as they're written, you know, in the comment, in the, you know, info on the YouTube channel, but then we're saying that that's not what we did, but this is what the recipe calls for.
Well, and that's why I love, so we did a recipe book with Marie Emmerich. Yeah, it's got so many great recipes, but there are infinite great recipe books out there and online. On our website, we share it. I'm sure you guys do the same thing. It really is food. You know, we do still love to go to events and family events and cultural events. And I mean, from time to time, I'll put on my plate some vegetables and color. I consider it kind of like they used to use kale for the decorations around the meat. And so I make sure my plate is well decorated so it looks nice. I don't need to touch it, but I'm happy enough to sort of, I'm going to use the word fit in, but I'm not. And everyone knows it. And, you know, I was like, I want to make it look good. But if someone was telling me they just planted their tomato garden and they're feeling so terrible now they're carnivore, I said, listen, you're going to feed the deer and the other animals, and you can at least look at it with such beauty. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. And so we have another question. Curious, I haven't heard much about carnivores eating cottage cheese. Is there a reason? I think cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Well, cottage cheese is made out of non-fat milk in general, to my knowledge, and so it doesn't have much fat. You know, that's even a whole milk is not a whole lot of fat. It's still mostly sugar, and so you know, a real carnivore is, because protein does have a little bit different effect. It doesn't have quite the same insulin, the glucose rise. You know, to me, insulin is not the problem. Sugar is. And a high protein, low fat diet, I think, is also not healthy for us.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, carbs. It is too many carbs for me anyway. What do you think, Jess?
About cottage cheese? Yeah, I just don't like it.
I don't either. And, you know, because I remember eating it like growing up with pineapple and cottage cheese. And so I know how sick I got over the years. And I do believe it's that. And, you know, it's like full fat yogurt. It's a lie. It's not, there's no full fat. Full fat is like organic, right? What the hell is organic anyway? I don't know.
Yeah. And if you guys do have any more questions at all, just drop them in that little question comment box down below, and it'll be easier to pull them up and put them up on the screen. But yeah, and if you guys do try to make this on your own, share with us, tag Dr. Kiltz, tag us. We'd love your creations and what you guys add.
And this is really good in coffee or tea, by the way, especially when it's butter. Now, I don't know, I guess hot coffee with this, I don't know where the egg would fit in, but eggnog in a little bit of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the drink is, sorry, go ahead, Serena.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's a drink at some like coffee restaurants where they have ice cream and they pour espresso over the top.
Oh yeah. And I was going to say, when I was I had given up cream for a while, I had given up all dairy for a while. And so in order to make my coffee taste good, I was doing an egg coffee. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but you put a raw egg in your hot coffee, and then you use like the NutriBullet to mix it up, and it gets frothy and creamy, and you'd think you put cream in your coffee, even though you didn't. So that's what I was doing when I gave up cream, but then I decided to give up coffee, and now I drink Bulletproof Water is what I've called it. And you put a scoop of butter, a couple tablespoons in some hot water with a little bit of red mineral salt, mix it up in here, and it gets frothy and creamy white. It looks like a white hot chocolate, except you're just getting a little bit of butter with that hot water. It emulsifies in there. And that's what I drink every morning now. It's just pure energy for me.
So what are your thoughts on coffee?
I drink decaf sometimes, but during the week I do what Serena does and make her Bulletproof Water. But on the weekends I tend to have like and drink decaf coffee.
Why are we so afraid of coffee in this carnivore world? I don't know the percentage of carnivores that do or don't. What are your thoughts?
So personally, I stopped drinking caffeinated coffee because I didn't like the withdrawal symptoms. When I stopped one time, I got such bad withdrawals, I was shaking and I started vomiting. And I didn't like that my body was that dependent on caffeine, so I tried to cut back. But I personally love the taste of coffee, so I drink decaf instead.
Now, the reason I gave it up is because we talked the other day about my post-COVID issue where things smell and taste rotten, roasted things in particular. So things like peanut butter smell awful, things that are smoked too, like when my kids open a pack of smoked tuna fish, it smells horrible. But coffee was one of the worst things, and I continued to drink it as long as I put enough cream in it, and for a little while I was using like a stevia or something in it after I became carnivore, and I was having to doctor so much. I was having to put so much in it to make it taste even remotely good because it tastes like rotting flesh. So it wasn't too hard for me to give it up. In the past, I've struggled with giving it up, and it can be really, really difficult to give it up. But I weaned myself over a week, and I don't miss it because now I have the Bulletproof Water.
I'll try the Bulletproof Water. And by the way, I'm getting my cups. Jess and I did a live yesterday, right? And I'm sure people could see us making some mugs. So I'm working to get more out there. So that's my job. Someone mentioned about caffeine and histamines. True. I know for me, I get a little bit of a histamine release, but for me, I went off of it like a few weeks ago for a week, last year for like a few months. I come and go. Like everything else in life, there's a measurement of your joy and your pain, right? And I would say that for me, I get more joy out of and I love the coffee tea camaraderie. There's a social nature to it that it's way different than alcohol, most likely. So, but again.
Thing is such a culture, like so many people's lives revolve around it. So I do miss that part of it, but I tell people that are just starting carnivore, if it's a deal breaker, you keep your coffee. If it's going to keep you going and that's your thing, then you keep that coffee. And I don't ever tell anybody to give it up if they don't want to, or if it's going to be a deal breaker and they're going to say, well, I can't do carnivore if I'm going to have to give up my coffee. It's certainly not worth that,
I don't think overall it's significantly harmful in a mild amount daily. If you're adding sugar to it, it's not good. Someone asked about histamine reaction. What is it? Histamines are those chemicals released by the mast cell to help when you're being attacked and release the mucus to engulf the bad things attacking you. It causes vasodilation, hot and rashy and itchy and all those sort of things. So the body, because coffee is a bean that's ground up, and even when you're making coffee, you're getting some of those particles that can be antigenic and cause histamines to be released. And some people really are debilitated from those sort of things.
Yeah.
Well, this was a ton of fun. It's been about 40 minutes. I think that's a good place to kind of cap it. I'm gonna go finish the rest of my ice cream. Maybe added in some coffee. Maybe I'll have some coffee today and put it in there.
I have a feeling my ice cream with my people because they're all listening and watching, and everybody's gonna want some of this ice cream.
It is really good. We keep sharing it, but the way to share it is like a meetup. We do a cream up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is all so much fun. I'm really enjoying it because I'm new friends from all over the world. We have our 5 a.m. Meetup every day on Kiltz's craziness. But I'm really excited, and thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for being our guest. And do you want to plug anything else? Like, where else can people go to follow you, find you, work with you?
Let's see, Dr. Kiltz or Carnivore Kiltz or Hey You, I always say. Again, follow you guys, Carnivore Revolution, you'll find so much. And we're excited about sharing ideas that maybe put us doctors out of business.
Fingers crossed. No.
Sorry, Dr.
No, listen, that's why I'm in medicine, to help people not need us.
That's right.
And, I know that there's always going to be someone out there that does. And that's our next opportunity to help them get to that next level for sure.
Right.
Well, thank you again and have a great night. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys again next time.
All right. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.